Sean Mary and the Matrix. You're listening to WFNY podcast. That's what's up.
It's another waitingfornextyear.com podcast. Everybody's favorite Cleveland Indians Twitter user, Sports Yelling, on the line.
I don't think that that's been officially proven that I'm their favorite, but thank you.
You're among the favorites.
All right, I'll take it.
You got to be in the running. And how many whiff hashtags do you think you were responsible for this year?
Not as many as like Monty Colorman and Princess Wiki. I think that they really took the reins on that one. I wasn't as good at that.
I really feel like the Indians Twitter community was cemented this year. I think it was a little loose last year, and I think it came together this year.
I agree. I feel like I know a lot of people much better than I did last year, and that I have like more of an understanding of the people in our weird little Twitter universe.
And it's an eccentric group, and I don't think I'm insulting anybody when I say that.
No, you're not at all. I think it is an eccentric group in the best way possible.
Yeah. All right. Well, enough about Twitter. The Cleveland Indians finished up 85 wins, following up a 92-win season with an 85-win season, and we decided that, unlike our normal podcast that meander and ramble with no structure whatsoever, you would come up with your 3 favorite and 3 least favorite things about this Indian season.
Yes. I felt much better about this one because you gave me something to do ahead of time, so I will sound less like an idiot, hopefully.
Yeah, sometimes homework is a good thing.
Yeah, I feel more prepared now.
I'm the same way with these podcasts too, by the way. When I prepare and it's when I've got a locked down agenda, it always feels like, well, even if it meanders, we at least have something to get us back on track.
Yes, absolutely.
So, do you want to leave them with the good stuff or leave them with the bad stuff?
I want to leave them with the good stuff, I think.
Right.
I always take bad news first when people ask me. So,
do you have them ranked 1 through 3?
I do, but I feel like depending on your personality, you could probably switch these around, especially the good ones.
All right, well, here's what we're going to do then, if it's okay with you.
Yeah.
We'll go the third worst, the third best, second worst, second best, first worst, first best.
Okay, that sounds good.
And then we'll still leave them with something good.
Okay. All right, so third worst. I was the third most annoyed by Terry Francona's overuse of the same bullpen arms because I feel like it cost us some meaningful games when they were like in September. So I feel like we overused like Cody Allen when we didn't need to use him, or we used Brian Shaw when we were up by 6 runs, and we didn't really need to do any of that, and then it came back to bite us later. And I know that Terry has said, like, Brian Shaw is better when he gets a lot of work, but I'm not positive that that is true because he had a rough, like, limp into the end of the season.
It's interesting. It's one of those things that you have a feeling about. Bullpens are something you just have a feeling about, and there's no way. It's once the decision's made, it either works or it doesn't, and there's no way to say that it was the wrong move. Maybe somebody else that Terry Francona picks would have been even worse, but I don't disagree with you. Sometimes you do get that feeling that, all right, well, he just went to that well too many times.
Yeah, and I'm not saying I wanted him to use CeCe Lee more because, God, I did not. But, like, but I feel like you could have maybe given more appearances to Crockett or maybe more appearances to, like, I don't know who else, but Crockett for sure, I feel like could have taken some of that load off.
When Brian Shaw appeared in 80 games, Cody Allen appeared in 76.
And you can't tell me that 2 years of this in a row isn't going to hurt them in the third year, because they're still going to be here, and they've had all of this work. And I just feel like at some point it's got to bite us long term.
All right, well, and you know what? It's only your third worst thing, third most annoying thing, so that makes sense. It's not too harsh, I think.
Yeah.
And I read that a couple of other people felt the same way, and I don't disagree. I think in a lot of ways Terry Francona was a little bit hamstrung. I mean, you consider that his first option for closer this year was supposed to be John Axford, and we know how that worked out.
Right.
So it's not, in a lot of ways, all the complaints about Terry Francona that I end up having, I then, on the other hand, I say, well, he only had so much to work with.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
All right, let's move to the third best thing.
The third best thing I thought was the young talent and how they kept us in competition after the trade deadline. So like Jose Ramirez and Tyler Holt and Zach Walters, I felt like maybe post-trade deadline we might not have expected to compete for as long as we did, and I thought that they kept us in the game.
I think that's a good one. One of my biggest complaints about the season, and I hope I'm not stealing anything, so I'll only mention it to talk about what you talked about, but was I didn't have any problem with the Indians trade deadline other than the fact that they didn't really bring anybody in to help. And so those young guys stepping up late in the season was kind of a revelation. It's one of the things that made the season a little bit more palatable than it otherwise would have been.
Right, and I can't speak for the front office and I can't read their minds, so I don't know what they thought that this team was going to do, but I feel like maybe the young talent extended our life a little bit longer than it would have been had they had adjustment problems. So I was impressed with them.
Well, and certainly the way the year started and the way the pitching rotation came together, I never expected to get so much out of Trevor Bauer this year.
Mm-hmm.
So the young guys did step up. All right, second most annoying or worst thing about the year.
The second worst thing about the year was our inability to approach lefties. Like, it never got better. We never really made adjustments, and there are still only like 3 guys who are good against lefties.
Isn't this like a complaint from the last decade?
Yes, I feel like I've said this for like the last 4 to 5 to 10 years. Like, why can't we hit lefties? It shouldn't. I thought Jan did a good job. I thought Lonnie showed a lot of improvement against lefties, but like as a whole, as a group, just put one lefty that we've never seen before, and we're just gonna stare at you for 9 innings.
When I was just going to bring that up, it's also the pitcher that they've never seen before, and the Indians, for whatever reason, maybe everybody struggles that way, and we only notice it because the Indians are the team that we watch. But it seems like the Indians, if they never punish the young up and comer who they'd never seen before, even if the guy is not that good.
I agree. So I thought that their inability to adjust to those kind of situations was the second worst thing about this year.
All right. Well, that leads me to another thing to follow up on, though, because you were the one who was really upset early on that the Indians wouldn't let Chisenhall bat against lefties. Once he earned his way into the lineup and they couldn't sit him as much, how did you feel about that decision? Were you satisfied?
I thought for his first full season on the roster, he did a nice job. My dad will argue and say that that's not true, and I don't care. So we actually argued about this at a game last week. I thought he did a nice job for his first full season, and I hope that we get to keep seeing growth out of him.
Well, you know who's not on the podcast?
Who?
Your dad.
I know, right?
That's right.
He doesn't count.
What's
he asked
up?
me the other day if my phone has internet. He doesn't know.
All right, so that was the second most annoying thing?
Yeah.
All right, so now we're back to the positive side of the ledger, the second best thing.
Second best thing would be the starters. I thought that when Justin Masterson faltered and had a really rough year, that this was going to be a rough season, and I thought that lots of guys like TJ House and Trevor Bauer and especially Corey Kluber really stepped up, and they became, their ERA post All-Star game was ridiculously good, and I thought that they just kept us playing. They kept us in competition and kept us competitive as a team, and they were the second best thing about this year.
Yeah, it was the second best thing for you. It was also the most shocking thing. I mean, just talk about a gift that you didn't expect to get.
I think in April we were all going, oh no, this is not going to be good, because everyone was starting out with having serious problems.
I was counting on Salazar in a big, big way.
And that did not happen. And Justin had problems, and even Corey Kluber had some problems his first couple of starts. So I feel like I remember looking around and going, this is not going to go well. And they really turned it around, and I was impressed with them. So kudos to the starters.
I can't remember exactly what I said or where I said it, but I'm pretty sure that I was counting on Mike Tomlin.
Josh Tomlin?
Sorry, yeah, Josh Tomlin. Before I got football in the brain, I'm pretty sure I was counting on Josh Tomlin before the season started.
And we saw some great stuff out of Josh Tomlin, but it was a mixed bag.
Yeah. Well, certainly not what he was. What 3 years ago.
Pre-Tommy John, definitely not.
Yeah. All right. Well, now that brings us to the number ones. Number one worst first.
This is not going to be a surprise to anybody. Our defense was the worst thing about this year. I actually wrote defense, and then in parentheses, can I write this 3 times? Like, it would probably just be defense across the board. You can't have, like, almost 120 errors and expect to be in contention. I feel like it cost us so many games that were close, and we would have been in a very different position had we played clean games.
Well, and it's also the worst thing just from a pure entertainment value standpoint. It's one thing to get beat by bad pitching or not enough hitting. It's another thing to throw the ball all over the field and drop it, and those things are just infuriating in baseball. It was
a shit show. Like, it was not fun to watch. It was infuriating. There was a lot of cussing. It caused a lot of cussing. I know that they can do better than that, and I expect that they will next year. Yeah. Or I'm expecting them to. That doesn't mean they will.
All right, and now, number one, drum roll. Yeah.
My number one is Michael Brantley, because I have his bat, number one. Number two, coming in third in the AL batting average is really impressive, and I feel like he was consistent for the entire year, and he kind of carried this team when they had no offense. And I know that Corey Kluber should be Cy Young, and he's in starters, and he's also super important, but Michael Brantley was a pleasure to watch for the entire season, and that's why he's my number one.
Yeah, and you can't really argue with that. I don't want to try and claim that I was on Michael Brantley first, because I wasn't, but he was, even last year, you could just see a little bit different in him, and some people complained that maybe he wasn't as pure a defensive center fielder, or he wasn't this or he wasn't that, but he showed exactly what he is this year, or what we hope he is, and it was really phenomenal to watch all year long. He's just one of those guys who makes everything look easy. I mean, yeah. I know his nickname is Smooth and all, but it's just watching him swing the bat and run in the field and on the bases, everything. He looks like a pure baseball player, and that's awesome.
Yes, absolutely. And his ability to throw people out at the plate, or throw them out when he has the ball from left, everything that he does is really nice to see. So I enjoyed watching him the entire season, and I hope that he's exactly as wonderful next year.
All right, well, and it's good lists. I really like them, but I thought for sure I was going to see annoying fan behaviors make their way into your worst part of the season list, but you kept it on the field.
Wait, I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. You cut out. Can you say that again?
Yeah, I just said, I thought for sure I was going to see some annoying fan behaviors make some of your worst of list.
I was under the impression this was supposed to be about the team. So
absolutely. Absolutely.
But I can tell you that the wooing has to stop, because it was the worst. I went to most of the games at the end of the season, and it was so distracting that I had to cover my ears so that I could watch baseball.
Well, and let's describe it, because I'm not sure that everybody understands exactly what we're talking about, but somewhere along the line, it became in vogue or whatever at Progressive Field for people to do that Ric Flair woo thing. And I know they sometimes play the sounder in the stadium, but when and how did that really take off?
I have no idea how it started. I have a feeling that the Fun Bunch starts it, and I would politely petition that they stop, because it's the worst. And I feel like it's distracting. If it's not distracting to the players, it's certainly distracting to the people who are actually trying to watch. But it's one person woos and then a person on the other side of the field woos. And so you have like that Doppler effect, and you're just constantly trying to locate where the sound is coming from. It's the worst. And I hate the wave, but the woo was probably more distracting to me than the wave was.
Yeah, and the wave, I understand why you would hate it, but I also have kids and a wife.
Kids think it's fun.
And a wife who enjoys the wave because the kids enjoy the wave. And so it's like, yeah, I don't like it, but, you know, time and place.
Yeah, I understand. Kids like the wave, and I'm not going to tell small children to hate the wave. They like it, and that's cool. I'm not going to yell at kids.
You won't be surprised to find out that they did the wave before the Katy Perry concert.
That is not surprising at all. Not surprising at all. Tell me about your Katy Perry concert experience, because I've never gotten to hear about it.
Oh, it was so fun. We went down and we ate dinner on East 4th Street, and we had a window seat, so we got to people watch as everybody was heading to the concert. And so you saw like the people who probably shouldn't still be shopping in Forever 21. You saw the little girls who were about to see their idol, and they were absolutely adorable. And you couldn't even feel good enough for them and how excited they were. You saw the tortured dads who had to take girls to the show. You saw the selfie-taking moms who were trying to dress as young as their daughters. I mean, the people watching at that show, it was everything I could have wanted it to be and more.
Well, I'm glad that it was truly an experience for you.
But from a musical standpoint, it was exactly what I expected too. It's a Vegas show. It's not really much about the music.
Yeah, I would expect that. But that almost makes it more fun, because you can listen to her CD anytime. You want to see like a thing.
Yes, although I will say I enjoyed the 20 or 25 minutes of like unplugged actual singing she did. But
that's nice.
But that was pretty much the only singing she did all night.
I can understand that, I guess.
Yeah, well, and I also understand it's almost impossible to put on a show at that level and actually sing. So
yeah.
But yeah, it was fun.
Good.
So, all right. So, any other lasting impressions? Any other missives or instructions you have for the Cleveland Indians heading into next year?
Please don't let Mickey Callaway leave. Like, pay him whatever he wants. I know that's not even, like, I just don't want him to go get a coaching job. I want him to stay forever. Please get a right-handed bat. That's all.
That's all.
Those are my only requirements.
Yeah, well, thanks so much for joining us, and we it's been another fun season to have you on occasionally to talk about the tribe. So I hope you'll do it again for us next year. I
would love to. Thank you so much for having me.
All right. Well, thanks everybody for listening, and we'll talk to you next time. It's been the WaitingForNextYear.com podcast.
Waiting for next year. Waiting for next year.